All right, guys.
That's what they said, you know.
Good evening. Welcome to this Urbanna Town Council work session on August 22nd, 2024. Let's have a roll call. Beth Justice.
Here.
Sandy Sturgill.
Here.
Alana Courtney.
Here.
Bill Goldsmith is here. Larry Tuning.
Here.
Mary Hanson.
Here.
Marjorie Austin.
Here.
Having a quorum, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I make a quick request, please? Could we turn the air on?
There it is on, isn't it?
Or,
Well, probably the temperature down.
yes, there you go. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
I knew what you meant.
Do we have an approval of the agenda as submitted?
I would like to make an amendment to the agenda, please.
And the amendment would be to,
Discuss the Town of Urbana Tourism Action Plan. So I believe that would probably go under old business, but we don't have old business.
How about discussion items?
Discussion items?
discussion items. Yep, and that is the Urbana
Town of Urbana Tourism Action Plan.
Tourism Action Plan.
When can we have discussion?
Well, we need a second, and then we'll have discussion.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay,
Okay.
now, discussion.
I'm wondering what the purpose of this is.
Well, it was made, a presentation was made to us
no,
back
no,
in
I know,
August.
I know, because
And we never-
Main Street was in
We never had any,
final.
there was no action taken on
Right.
it, and I
Right.
think we need to start doing some action with the town. I mean, we've got to get people in here, so
Yeah.
I think it's important that we,
So
I
is
think it
this,
still needs to be adopted.
adopt this.
I agree.
Exactly.
so this is for adoption?
Yes,
as an
sir.
action, not just discussion?
Yes, sir.
And we did,
We accepted it, whatever that meant.
Well,
yes,
it didn't, that's,
but,
But adoption sounds like it's the correct term.
right. All right, so, any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I'll
Yes.
make it as a amendment to the agenda, adding 8F, adoption of the Town of Urbana Tourism Action Plan.
so moved.
All right, so,
Need a second?
we
I
ha-
second.
okay, we've had the discussion, and so now we vote to amend the agenda, and then we have to vote for the amended agenda, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is the vote for the amendment.
For the,
Mark?
for the agenda to be amended.
And then
That
we'll
was-
come back to vote to accept the,
Okay, so yes,
okay. So Marjorie Austin,
yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Larry Tuning.
Yes.
I say yes. Alana Courtney.
Yes.
Sandy Sturgill. Beth
Yes.
Justice. Now, do I have a motion to accept the amended agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion? No further discussion. Beth Justice.
Yes.
Sandy Sturgill.
Yes.
Alana Courtney.
Yes.
I say yes. Larry?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yes.
All right. Moving on. First item, public comment. Does anybody sign up for public comment?
No, sir.
All right.
Did you not sign it?
And discussion items. Is there a discussion item? Mr. Costin?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, we're on to the action items.
I thought discussion items was where you said you were. at.
8F.
No, we're moving
We're
it
moving
down
it to
to,
F.
because it is
Under
to
action items?
accept-
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, ladies and gentlemen. I want to present the first three items right off the bat because they are so related. The first is the adoption of the 2024 Oyster Festival Master Plan. This is routine action. The plan is reviewed and updated every year. The event is the 67th Oyster Festival, will be held November 1, November 2. Obviously, it's a positive impact for the town in the way of economic activity and just a good PR across the state for the town. The staff recommendation is to approve the plan as it's presented, and you have a sample motion there. Now, the next two items on the agenda are discussed and laid out in the plan, and those are the resolution 003 restricting parking and traffic during the 2024 Urbana Oyster Festival, and then the next one, resolution at 004, also addressing the no parking. So one has to do with preventing traffic at certain times, certain places. The other has to do with regulating parking at certain times and certain places. All detailed in those resolutions, all detailed out in the master plan. So again, I'm presenting everything at one time because it's kind of a package, but you'll have to take three separate actions. And Mr. Hyman with the Oyster Festival is here if you all have any questions. But I'd be happy to take any questions you might have at this time.
No? How are these plans that we're approving different than prior ones?
I'd have to defer to
Yeah.
Mr. Hyman on that because I just reviewed this
I mean,
year's
it
plans.
looks like, the same
Same
thing,
thing.
but
Yeah.
I'm just, it would help if
Yeah,
we knew
year
what the
after year.
differences were.
The only thing we did is we added.
Can you come up to the microphone, please?
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all.
Hi, Joe.
We do the whole name thing. Joe Hyman, Deltaville, 274 Riverside Drive, Deltaville. Yeah, Oyster Festival Chair. Everything's the same as last year. We did one little revision on Ted's recommendation that we include a provision in there for parking RVs because it technically was not allowed.
Yes.
So we added that to the master plan that during this time, RVs can be parked like cars are parked on a temporary basis.
Okay, so like cars are parked, so that means along the streets, along,
No, in private parking lots.
okay.
It actually is specific to private
Okay.
parking
Like
lots.
they had been, but now there's a resolution.
Yeah, apparently the
Just
town's,
wanted
It's
to make
added.
sure
Yeah,
it
that's-
wasn't
that's what I was
streets as
trying to
well.
clarify.
yeah, apparently town's got a provision, you can't park RVs in town and leave them, so we added that to the master plan. But I think that's the only change we made. Everything else is the same. Yeah, I was just going through it. We've again requested and I think come to an agreement again on 6 slips at the marina where we bring our boats in. We've had some conflicts over the years where sometimes there's not 6, it ends up being 5 or not 6. We just want to make sure it's 6 because otherwise it causes us a lot of problems where we have boats coming in and so.
Right.
What kind
Alls we
what
want is
kind of
6
boats?
slips.
Like the historic boats?
Yeah, the
Those
historic
kinds of
boats
things?
come in or, we've got the, buy boats. We have all,
Okay.
it changes every year.
Right.
So we always bring in whatever boats we can bring. We can always bring more in, but we always limit it to 6 that or whatever fits in the 6 slips that were allotted. So, but sometimes we bring a boat in and if somehow we don't have those 6, it's a real problem. So anyway, we just want to make sure everybody's in agreement that the 6 slips are the 6 slips we're going to get and we won't have any discussions about it and it'll all be good. That's the one thing.
And the people at the marina, that have to move, this goes on every year. It's part of the deal.
Yeah,
They're down there.
Yeah.
Those 6
Yep.
slips, they need those 6 slips. They're vital to what the education program and all that they're having down there.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, let's make sure they're available.
And we have all the usual stuff coming, we've got the kids coming down here for the boat trips, that happens in October. Just all the things that tie into Oyster Festival is happening, pretty much starting now and going on. I see your Queen contestants have got a couple donations in here to give you. That's awesome, love to see that. So, yeah, if anybody has any questions.
I think that's got it. And I think for clarification, I think we ran into some difficulty because we didn't have these resolutions in the past, and when it came to enforcement, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Ted, or Michelle, because we didn't have a resolution to saying you couldn't do it as part of the master plan, then it gave us heartache in terms of somebody said, well, there's nothing in here that said, so we can't do this. And so to avoid that in the future, that was the purpose for those resolutions added.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we didn't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
It's clear, helps the town out, that's good.
Yep,
With clarifications,
exactly.
yeah. So everything is rolling and
I think we're
ready
good.
to go. Okay,
Do you
All
want to
right.
go ahead and get these resolutions
Yep, one at
done
a
now?
time.
Okay,
The
so
first one would be the Oyster Festival Master Plan. Do I have?
2024 as presented. So moved.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion on that?
Do we get
Oh, do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll start with Beth Justice,
Yes.
Sandy Sturgill.
Yes.
Alana Courtney.
Yes.
I say yes. Larry Tuning.
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
Moving on to the next part, which is for resolution, find it, the 2024-003. Do I have a motion?
004.
So moved. It's
Well, there's
003.
first.
Restricting parking and traffic.
Yep.
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second on that one?
A second.
All right. Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
Motion, and
Oh,
then
sorry.
Sandy Sturgill second. Any discussion on that one? All right, Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Larry Tuning.
Yes.
I say yes. Alana Courtney.
Yes.
Sandy Sturgill.
Yes.
Beth Justice.
Yes.
Now, 004. Would you like to make that motion, Mary?
Okay, let's see. I move to accept Resolution 2024 RES 004 as presented.
Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second.
Made and seconded. Any discussion on that one? Okay. Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Larry Tuning.
Yes.
I say yes. Sandy
Yes.
Sturgill. Alana Courtney.
Yes.
And Beth Justice.
Yes.
All right. Done, Mr. Hyman.
Great, thank you.
All right. Oyster Festival Queen and Spat projects, Mr. Costin.
All right, thank you again. So last month, by consensus, council accepted the donation of a handicap swing for Tabor Park from one of the Queen contestants, Anna Crown. Now we've received a second offer. I think it's more appropriate to take formal action on both. The second offer comes from Queen candidate Haley Bruce to donate 2 white composite benches. It's her intent that these benches would honor our veterans and provide a new place in the community to enjoy. Staff will work with both of these young ladies to appropriately locate the improvements. Other than that, I don't see a significant impact on town resources. Staff recommendation is to accept. That is the requested council action. You had the sample motion, but in your packet behind the cover sheet, you'll see a picture of what the handicap swing looks like. So I think would simply be taking out one of the regular swings and putting this one in, and we'll retain the regular swing in case we need to replace one. And then further back, you also have a picture of what one of the benches would look like. And I would be happy to take any questions that I can answer for
Do
you.
we need to accept those separately, or can we?
You can, it's proposed
all
as one
together,
motion.
so-
Yeah, it's proposed in one motion if you want to do it in one motion.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept those?
I move to accept the donations of the handicap swing and the 2 white composite benches.
Do I have a second on that?
A second.
All right. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I think we need to send them a letter thanking them.
We should give them a...
Michelle and I were just talking about
However
we
you
should-
want
one of
to
our
do it.
Yeah,
certificates of
certificate.
appreciation
Yeah, there you go.
for each of them.
This is positive stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. It helps the park, and it does bring exposure to the causes that they're trying to forward.
And
We
it
had a-
shows that we have a positive thing with our park, and they're recognized.
All of that.
We also had a Queen and a Spat at Second Saturday, and we do a 50-50 raffle. And Second Saturday donated their half along with Dave Lipscomb, who was the winner of the kitty. So we donated $222 to the Queen and the Spat from Second Saturday.
Cheyenne, wasn't that her name?
Cheyenne, and yes.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Any further discussion? Having no further discussion, we'll start this time with Beth Justice.
Yes.
Sandy Sturgill?
Yes.
Alana Courtney?
Yes.
I say yes. Larry Tuning?
Yes.
Mary Hanson?
Yes.
Marjorie Austin?
Yes.
All right. Moving right along. Next item, termination of trick or treat date.
Well, this officially has nothing to do with Oyster Festival, the one thing on the agenda that doesn't, but it is impacted by Oyster Festival. Trick or treat, typically October 31. That is the Thursday night before the Oyster Festival kicks off. And we believe an alternative date is appropriate because of the lead-up activity to the Oyster Festival. Staff's proposing Tuesday, the 29th. And be happy to take any questions you all have for that,
And why Tuesday, the 29th?
just to give it a little extra time.
space.
Yeah.
A lot of activity goes.
Yeah, on Wednesday and Thursday,
Yeah, Wednesday it starts getting busy.
especially on Rappahannock.
Get it close to the traditional October 31 date, but not right on top of
Okay,
it.
all right.
Would it be, since it's artificial, it's an artificial celebration, any date we choose, if it's not on the 31st, would it make more sense to put it on a weekend?
I agree.
What day is the 31st? Is that a Sunday?
It's
The
a
thir-
Tuesday.
the 31st is Thursday.
It's
Thirty-
Thursday, so
31st
that's
is
the
the
problem, and then,
Ms. Schultz.
I agree. I think you're right.
It's Saturday.
Is on Saturday night.
Oh, that's why.
Right.
Never mind.
well,
Right.
what about Sunday night?
That's not good because school's the next day.
Well, school's the next day,
On any,
Oh.
on any of the days, yeah.
on any of the days.
Oh, I think a weekend is be much better.
Yeah.
I've got to change it. I agree 100%.
And then, because it will, even on Tuesday, it'll be impacted somewhat by
They might have-
Oyster
they
Festival
might come.
stuff.
Or they might let their kids do something.
I don't know.
I think we should go with staff recommendation because somebody's got to be out there kind of taking.
So do we need to make the motion for that?
Yep.
Yep.
Motion to move trick or treat to the town, in the town of Urbana to Tuesday, October 29th, 2024.
Why
thought we
can't
were
we
talking
make a
about Sunday.
motion to move it to Sunday, the
So, when-
22nd.
Do we know
You-
when the church is having their
That's not
trick
right,
or treat?
22nd.
Mr. Mayor,
See if you
you
have
have,
a second.
you have a motion on the floor.
Oh, oh,
You need a
okay.
second,
get a
or the motion fails.
All right. Do we
So-
have a
We're
second?
just checking the date.
Is this Sunday?
27th is
This
this
is for
Sunday,
the,
the 27th.
this is for the 29th.
Mr. Mayor, you have a motion on the floor.
Right, I'm looking for a second.
Is there, have you called for a second? You need to
Yes.
call.
That's what- that's-
Oh, okay, but
and-
it's
and
called
it
a
was
discussion.
clarification of what they were asking for clarification of what the date is. At this point, the motion is for the 29th.
Correct, yes.
Which is this
Which is the,
Sunday?
which is
No.
the Tuesday.
No,
Tuesday.
no.
Which is the Tuesday.
Sunday is the 27th.
Right. So the motion on the floor is for Tuesday, the 29th.
Okay,
So do
But
I-
they
do I-
would like to make it Sunday. They'd like to,
We have to deal with the motion
So
that's
we
on
have
the
to do it.
floor.
no
So do we have a
Is there no
second?
If there's no second,
If
then
there's
it
no,
dies.
if there's no second, then the motion dies.
okay.
Okay, so I'll make a new motion that trick or treat in the town of Urbana be moved to Sunday, October 27th, 2024.
Do I have a second on that one?
I second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion on that one?
Somehow we're gonna let the community know.
Yeah,
We'll,
Absolutely.
we'll be putting the notice out, yes.
Yes.
Where's Tom? He came in with me. Tom, can you please put that in the paper, like in the front somewhere?
And that may dovetail better with the trunk or treats
Oh, that's true.
in the churches and that kind of stuff.
That's true.
So, all right. Motion is made and seconded for the 27th, the Sunday evening. Any further discussion? All right. Beth Justice,
Yes.
Sandy Sturgeon.
Yes.
Alana Courtney.
Yes.
I say yes. Larry Tuning.
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Marjorie Austin.
Sorta, yes.
Sort of yes.
Motion.
All right. There. We just flew through those things.
Joe, make sure you tell everyone trick or treats on the 29th. I mean, the 27th. The 27th. But they can come on the 29th to my house, I guess.
Yeah. You pick the date. Okay. And now, I need a motion to go into closed.
No, what you need now is,
Oh, wait a
the
minute,
Town of
no, we got
Urbana
the, I'm
Action
sorry.
Tourism
We got
Plan.
item F, which is the Urbana tourism.
Yeah.
So,
I would like for this to be adopted. I'd like to make a motion that Urbana Town Council adopt the Town of Urbana Tourism Action Plan as of today.
I second.
All right, motion is made and seconded. Do we have discussion on that?
Yes.
Okay.
The Tourism Action Plan, as you may or may not remember, was an effort that was created by Urbana Main Street and and Laura Messer from the Virginia Tourism Council, who has offered to come back. She offered to come back and work with us more in January, but Ted was so new at that point, it was just not at the top of the list of things for him to do. Ted and I have talked about trying to reengage her to bring her back. We also, Main Street, when we did the Holiday Home Tour, last year, our goal was to get enough money from the Holiday Home Tour to be able to hire someone part-time to do Main Street part-time. We did really well. We made more than the home tour has ever made, but we didn't make that much. So at our last meeting in July, we talked about what could we do that would be consistent with what we had told people we would use the money for. And so we decided that what we'd like to do is to use some of the money to hire someone part-time to take parts of the Tourism Action Plan that seem to be things that we can move forward on, relatively soon, and to do the marketing for that, and so we've asked for a proposal on what that person would propose the priorities would be, how much they would charge for that sort of thing, because we felt that was consistent with what we said we would use the money for from the Holiday Home Tour. So I just want people to know, this is a good opportunity to tell people that is inching along.
Y'all did a great job. This is a good
The
way to.
Holiday Home Tour?
Yes.
It's going to
Good.
be, we're doing it again this year.
Good.
And it's going to be great. The Cottrells have offered their house, and there are a number of other houses. I don't remember all of them. It's just that I'm blanking. I don't remember. But yeah, I know the committee is really looking forward to doing it again. Yeah, thank you.
That's good. Any other discussion?
No. Yeah, I'm just interested in some kind of cost. There must be a cost involved. Is this
For-
something that's coming from the funds?
Yes.
So
That
it's
we-
nothing that comes out of the taxpayer? or-
No,
Uh-huh.
no, because
Right.
there is nothing in the budget, Alana, that's devoted to that. We've talked a couple of years, I've asked the Finance Committee to create funds for that, for marketing or for tourism or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I understand, we have such a slim budget. So one of the things that we were hoping that Main Street could do would be to earn its own money to do some of that. So that's where it would be coming from, would be from the proceeds from last year's home tour, okay? And we don't have a budget yet, because I'm waiting for a proposal, and then we'll see, what it is.
And
And then take it from there.
And also, the EDA is interested in this action plan as well, to offer some assistance.
Yeah, and Trent is on the Main Street Committee, yeah.
I know I said it last year, but it's worth repeating. I don't feel like I know that we have one of the biggest engines of economic development that any municipality, probably anywhere, has, and that's the Urbana Oyster Festival. And we don't really make any money from it, and I just think that that's really a shame. I would love to be able to figure out how we can,
That's a big question.
it's a
Yeah.
tremendous engine
Well,
for
we make a
economic.
little money off it, but what's really a shame is that the foundation, which does all the work, doesn't make any money.
Yeah,
Well, that's their issue.
Yeah. Well,
We're the
it
town.
should be our issue too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they should be. I mean, the
Yeah.
people are so inconvenienced and, I can't get in, I can't get out, nobody can get in and out. And, we all do it because it's the Oyster Festival and it's only one weekend, but we must be able to put our heads together at some point in the
to
future.
find some ways to monetize
Figure
it.
out some way to, yeah.
And there's no question that and this is actually off subject, because we're talking Oyster Festival,
Yep.
that's not really,
Well, we're talking
It's
economic development.
Yeah, which is part of the tourism, it's mentioned in the tourism
Yeah.
action plan, so.
They mentioned it quite a few times as I was reading it
Yes.
in there, and it's
Uh-huh.
like, it's just,
Right.
So it's an engine of economic.
And there are
development.
festivals that obviously charge entry fees that Oyster Festival is not. There's the parking, and that sort of becomes their oyster fee.
I think you start charging people all kinds, I mean, the food's already outrageously expensive anyway. I think you start charging people to come, we'll lose people.
Right, but that's always the trade-off, is whether that would get it back, and then it sort of changes the character of
Right.
of the festival as well.
Right.
No, I'm not suggesting it, but
Yes,
I'm just
yeah.
saying that that's other
I would
places, you know, you're
suggest
sort of, we've got to, since we're sort of out here by ourselves, you've got a possibility of doing that because there's only 2 roads into town and somebody's got to go through. But that's the only thing that I could see that you could do differently.
I think they've been through that process of trying, Joe Hyman, if he's still out there.
He's
Ted,
out there talking. I can hear
Hey,
it.
Joe?
Ted, am I able to bring up my, what I wanted to ask about the, Paynes Landing?
It's not on the agenda,
but, yeah.
you could tie it into the tourism.
They have, I don't think they can charge because it's a public streets that people are coming into. But the one at St.
Right.
Mary's in Maryland, which is the National Oyster Festival, is in a,
Run away.
in a defined area.
Yes.
Please.
They can, people can come in and they can charge them. The question is, why don't we charge people $1 or $2 for coming to the Oyster Festival?
Or some money.
And
not-
that money come to the town.
And
Yeah, it's not legal.
Right.
You
Yeah,
can't
tell
charge,
them,
you
tell
can't charge people to walk on VDOT streets. You just can't do it. So you'd have to stop them at the bridge, you'd have to stop them on this end of town, and you'd have to charge them to be able to walk on streets. So we can't stop anybody from coming into town. So the only place that we can collect is parking. And if you don't choose to use one of those lots, then we don't collect anything.
And what do they get? They get $20 a car.
Yeah, and it's traditionally split, $10 to the festival, $5 to the parker, and $5 to the landowner. And there are some changes that have taken place over the years, well, in different places. Some places we don't get it. Some places might park hundreds of cars, and we might get paid for parking 100 cars instead of hundreds. So we don't really have a whole lot of enforcement on that. We don't really have the ability to do it, other than just talking to people and saying, you know,
So does the farmer that farms it, does he get a cut?
so nobody that farms it gets anything. I mean, it just depends. So it's all the landowner. The landowner can decide what to do with it.
So is that Scott on that side, or is that?
The Scots are on that side, and at one time they were donating the money, their part, they were donating back to us. Now they've stopped doing that. So that's made a big hit. And then you have other, like I said, you have landowners here that park cars, and we might get $20.
But the
You know.
main parking lot down there is the Scots.
That's the Scots, that's Rosegill, yeah. And the-
Braze, and it's-
yeah, the Braves park it,
I
and the
don't know-
Braves
I don't know
handle
how
it.
They work it. but-
Yeah, we don't, there's no problem or question with anything that the Braves do on that side.
Right.
No, no,
It's just a matter of
I didn't mean that.
of what the landowner gets. But I mean, those guys are all doing, the only difference is that, you know, probably 3 years ago, those owners would donate. You've got, the landowner on this side, you know, they would donate, back, and now they take something, which is understandable. I mean, you have costs and taxes or
Bless
whatever
you.
else, so they're looking to get compensated for that, so. But parking is a much smaller part of our budget. Well, parking, the parking monies hasn't grown enough to keep up with our budget. That's why you see us doing all these other things we're doing to try to generate revenues, because it's just, you know, our taxes are up. We're paying 38,000 for deputies. We used to pay 20,000, you know, but with all their costs up, we're doing, I mean, it's just going through the roof. So every time we make a call about everybody getting their numbers in, VDOT's gone from typically 12,000 to 14,000 up to 20, 22,000, 25,000.
And Vita, you're paying them for what?
Well, they do a lot. They do a lot of the traffic. They do all the traffic divisions when we shut down the road.
Yeah.
They're actually on standby on Fridays, because I don't know if any of you remember, but we did have a Friday where we just got overwhelmed with cars, and so for a public safety, we shut it down. And the fire department, you know, rallied and got their guys together and started hauling people in and out. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we really have, and that's all part of a plan, you know, that we have. And but it's just amazing to how that actually all comes together when they do it. But
What
it's very
about-
expensive.
What about the nonprofits? What do they pay Do they pay anything? I mean, do
Yeah,
they
the
buy a
nonprofits
business
all pay
license?
they all pay this vendor fee, just like everybody else. But I mean, we really watch out for the nonprofits. You know, they're first and foremost on our minds. You know, Alet Country Day owns their site. They purchased it. That's how important Oyster Festival is just to their school. So they actually purchased their site and prepped it. But they still pay a vendor fee.
What is the vendor fee?
I think for those guys, it's $1,000. Yeah, there's a part of that is a town fee, a food vendor fee, and another fee.
And the foundation gets that? Does the town get any of?
Yeah, the town.
Yeah,
We get meals
gets it.
tax.
yeah. There's a
With
yeah.
the not-for-profits, we don't charge them, right?
No, you do. It's
Not
all
on the
in-
not-for-profits.
All the
But-
funds collected from the business license
which is what these are talking about. They're business
is
licenses.
donated back to help pay for the police.
Okay.
Right.
All the meals tax collected is ours.
Yep.
We do not donate that back. That's
Okay.
our portion of revenue from the festival. We get it per meals tax.
No, the average, how much is that? Just a wild guess here.
You think it's really truthfully reported?
Yeah, just,
No, it's not.
Know what?
What are you gonna do?
Guess there's no way to
Yeah.
figure.
Well, we've talked about that, and we have some ideas within. I mean, I think what we need to do is find the least successful food vendor and move them on. You know, if their sales are as low as they report their sales, then we
Right.
certainly could find somebody that could do better at Oyster
Yes.
Festival. So that's something that we've been, and I'm going to push for that this year. We'll make sure that
Yeah,
happens
that's
this year.
a good way to do
That
it.
we won't, you know, we're going to find the lowest, the least successful vendor. Let's just put
Yeah.
it that way. Because
I
obviously, if
say
they
I'm-
report their taxes and their sales are actually that low,
Yeah, you can say
then,
this is obviously not worthwhile for you.
yeah,
so
we'll put
we're
somebody
gonna
in
fill
here
your
that can
spot
do
with
better.
somebody
yes.
else.
yeah.
And all of a sudden.
And
they'll
once
start
that
getting
happens,
money.
that will change, that changes the dynamic pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So we've talked about that and we're gonna implement it.
Perfect. Good idea.
Yeah, so,
All right,
anything else on that?
I think,
When other similar festivals in other kind of Virginia localities have these events, are they pretty much in the same boat? It's a community service, it's a community event, it's
No.
not a moneymaker? Or how do they monetize it more?
Well, there isn't any other festival in Virginia that's run by all volunteers like ours is.
Okay.
And we're the largest by far, and there isn't anybody else that comes close to running it the way we do. Everyone else, the localities run it.
Oh, I see.
So
I
there's
see.
no, or a paid organizer runs it.
Okay.
There's nobody else that does it with all volunteers. Which is just, I mean, if you ask anybody that does festivals, they just can't believe it. They want to talk to us all the time. So even St. Mary's Oyster Festival, you know, they've got paid people all over there and stuff. It's not done like we do it. So it's pretty amazing. And
How
we're,
many of you do it? How many
Volunteer.
are there?
what are you doing this year?
I always work the beer garden.
There you go.
Or the
Well,
wine, yeah, the wine.
so, I mean, literally, there's hundreds because of the day of, you know, literally in the beer garden, we
Right.
have
I mean, the
probably
core.
30 people. But, the core group that's working on it at the foundation office is probably 15. Yeah, 18. And everybody's involved. Everybody's involved. And we
Pam
have,
counts as 5, right?
what's that?
Pam counts as 5 people,
Pam does,
right?
Pam does, you know, just a huge amount of work, obviously. And, but we've got, you know, we're bringing in younger people. We're doing a really good job over the last 2 or 3 years bringing in younger people. We've got a really good marketing program led by Whitney. And then we've got Eric Fadre's daughter, who's, I mean, just bringing a lot of talent and things, you know, we're trying to keep up. There's a lot of evolution that's happening and we're trying to keep up.
It should never
You
be
guys can't do this forever.
It should never be
Who can't?
understated.
You all
understated,
can.
though, that
Oh, yeah, I mean, we get old, we can't do it, but I mean,
sustainability of this is tied to the cost. And the costs have just been going up year after year
Yeah.
after year after year.
And we've made, what,
Somehow
66
They've
years?
been able to keep it going.
well, we've done, I mean, you know, this VIP experience we did, I mean, which we thought would go, but I mean, the very first year, we probably sold 50 tickets, and now we sell out in advance 250 tickets each
How far in
day.
advance can one buy those?
I don't know, whenever we get them on the website,
Oh, I see.
they're waiting for them, so,
Okay.
I mean,
People ask.
yeah, I'm sure it happens in July or August. You know, it's about how fast we can,
Yeah, they're
we can
probably
do it.
sold out by
We're now, with our current t-shirt vendor, we're selling shirts online. That's just starting up.
Posters are
There's,
great.
what's that?
The posters poster this year is.
Poster's great, you know, and so we're doing everything we can, and it's really hard, and we're always looking for another avenue to bring in funds, because I mean, as you guys know, we're losing land. I mean, with the pool construction, we've lost land, we lose lots. Now we're not going to be on the Marble House this year. So many vendors there, we got to find a spot for them.
I thought they were doing this year, but not next year.
What's that?
I thought they were doing this year, but not next year.
Not this year.
Oh,
Yeah. So, you know, and that's just one. I mean,
yeah.
20 years ago, we lost, you know, I mean, the Marble House, we had the corner where the bank is, you know, and then we lost that and thought the world was going to come to an end. So, you know, we're under pressure from everywhere, and that'll continue to happen. I mean, as development happens in these outskirts, if Rosegill happens or anything like that, those are huge hits that we'll take. So,
Well, there's been discussion about purchasing property and that type of thing for parking lots and what have you, but that land's is now gone too, I think, something that you were talking about.
yeah. Well, the park, you know, that's, we're underway on developing the park,
Yeah,
the land, you know, that adjacent land. And so right now you're looking at an acre, and that'll turn into 2 acres. It's actually over 3 acres, but we have to put a retention pond in the back. You know, we've got 13 acres that drains through that property, and we're going to capture it and treat it before it keeps going to the bay. So that's a $380,000 project that's underway. So we're well on our way to that.
Property was huge.
What's that?
The purchase of that property was huge.
Yeah, and if you remember, we did it during the pandemic,
Yep.
and just said, when it came up for sale, said, we're buying it. And they said, how? I said, details. Don't
My
sweat the
husband went
details.
down there last week and worked on some of the storm damage, took down, you know, got trees out, cleared
Very
cleaned it up a
helpful.
little bit so that it
Yeah.
was presentable. He
Very
said he
helpful.
would keep doing that as, you know, towards Oyster Festival as well.
Yeah, it's all good. It's
Yep.
all good. So
Okay.
Thank you.
lots of good things.
Thank you, Joe.
We keep pushing. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
This time I'm really going to run.
I was gonna say, if you don't want to get called back in, you should probably,
So while
always
we're,
nice to see you, don't be a stranger.
on this topic of tourism and then volunteers and that, Second Saturday would like to, I don't know, I guess you have your blessing. I don't know if we need to make a motion. Ted, I guess you would have to let me know, is to work on the Payne Landing site and get it weeded.
Sign. Are we gonna get a sign?
Well, what I'd like to do, so a couple of the people that volunteer in Second Saturday brought this forward with me, and just to get it, get it cleaned up, get a banner made, because Oyster Festival's coming. We want that to look nice, and a banner that says, coming soon, Tabor, or Payne Landing. And we've already got some ideas for some plants and that kind of thing, but we'd like to start working on that soon so that it's more presentable for
I
Oyster
hope that you
Festival.
do. I know it's the subject we shouldn't be talking about tonight because we're out of order, I think, but
I was gonna say,
I think
now we're
we
really,
should.
Well, Ted said I could bring it up because of
Yeah.
the tourism,
Let's get it on the
and,
agenda.
and that will bring in the tourism. That's for tourism. Ted said I could bring this
okay,
forward.
all right. So,
So we're going to delay this and not go ahead and start getting it cleaned up down there and that kind of thing?
I think we're on the tourism action plan right now.
No, we're
That's the
finished, and we've
motion.
already motioned and seconded and voted.
No, we haven't.
no, we haven't
We're
voted.
having
Oh.
discussion.
No, that's,
Okay.
that's,
It's all been discussion.
what's that?
It's all been discussed.
This has all been discussion,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
And we've gone a little bit far afield, and that's sort of a separate vote and separate topic. And that, I don't even know if that's something that do we need to vote on that?
Okay, your motion on the floor is about the plan.
No, but I'm just saying for,
But
Okay.
if you, what I heard on this end of the table was if someone, that it might be an agenda item for another meeting.
yeah, and that just pushes it off 2 weeks. And then maybe you can have a proposal.
That's my proposal, what I just said. Go down there and clean it up and get it ready.
I think we need to
And
deal
then-
with the tourism action plan and whether because the motion is whether we are going to adopt it, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
We had a
Okay.
motion, we had a second, we've had
And we've had
discussion.
discussion.
So now we
need
did.
to vote on
Vote on it.
Right.
that.
Exactly.
Okay, let me just say this,
Yes.
that I have no problem with this. I'm going to vote yes on it.
Okay.
But Urbanna's America's first port town. Well, You can argue that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
and
not the case.
yeah,
That-
yeah,
and-
yeah,
But just that sort of stuff needs to be cleaned up.
sure.
and,
Yes.
And
Oh,
looked
yeah.
at, you know, but,
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed the
And in
same
fact,
thing.
I don't even know if this was the final version.
That's all we
because there were
have.
some things that,
we were pretty darn
Got
early.
cleaned
You
up.
could say one of the first.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But I mean, I think somebody needs to go through
why,
this.
why don't you help us with
I
that?
would be
and-
glad to do that.
That
yeah.
would be wonderful.
And,
if you
and
would
this
do
is
that.
a template.
It is,
Yeah,
it is.
I'm all right
Yeah.
for voting.
It's a,
Okay.
You know,
yeah,
All right, so
it's
let's-
a Virginia tourism.
Let's have the vote on this. If there's no further discussion, Marjorie, you can make a presentation at the next meeting so that we're following.
We need to
the
do this one
formality,
first, and then we can,
And then we can, get you going on that. Beth
Beth
Justice.
Justice, yes.
Yes.
Don't recognize you with your mask on. Sandy Sturgis.
Yes.
Alana Courtney.
I'm going to abstain because I feel like it's a lot of information. I've only had a day to look at it, and I want more time.
Yeah, I don't think you were on council when we did this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does go back for a while. Okay. I say yes. Larry Tuning,
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Marjorie Austin.
yes.
Okay. So that passes 6 with 1 abstention. All right. Now, moving on.
So we're putting the request that I have to work at Payne Landing off for till the next meeting.
Right, it's not on,
Not on the
the
agenda.
agenda.
Ted, can you
And-
make sure that that gets on the agenda, please? Thank you.
We will, absolutely.
And would you also put the delinquent water bills on there?
Yeah, we asked for that to be on this one, didn't happen.
Right.
Thank you,
We
Ted.
thought by the time we got through some of this other stuff that it was gonna be enough time.
We need to take care of that $28,000 late bills. We got to figure.
All right,
$28,000.
now we can go into closed meeting.
Are we going to do
I
that
think
before
that's
we do
fine.
announcements? Because no one's going to be here, and it's number 10 on the agenda.
30-some.
Do you have any announcements, Mr. Costin? Did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I was just asking because it was a little,
All right,
seemed a little
So-
bit backwards, that's all.
I think we're good. I think we can go into closed meeting.
Okay.
All right. Do I have
I'll
a,
make the motion to go into closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A3 for the discussion of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose because discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiation strategy for the town council purchase of 390 Virginia Street, and pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A1 for the discussion of performance of employee of any public body, Ted Costin.
do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? All right, Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Larry Tuning.
Yes.
I say yes. Alana Courtney.
Yes.
Sandy Sturgill.
Yes.
Beth Justice.
Yes.
Thank you all.